to a new wandering video. Today we'll be exploring the beautiful and historic market town of Faversham, which is nestled in North Kent between Canterbury and the Thames estuary. It's my first time ever visiting this town and I am very curious to explore it. Heard lots about it, so let's go! A remnant of a Roman villa. Right, let's go through the museum and see what we can see today. Town map from 1752. Moving on to medieval times. Model of the west front of the abbey. And from the bits and pieces that they have uncovered, that's interesting. It has a rough graffiti on this piece of stone. I wonder when was that made. There's a room for kids to color and draw and do bits and bobs. Right, there's different buildings and parts from here, so let's go and explore the cottage hospital. Okay, this is called the Elizabethan room. I'm gonna pick a few artifacts to show you. And one of them is this, a model of a Wilden house, which is typical of North Kent. And in the cabinet there's a massive book of the Common Prayer. It's huge. And I found an even older book, you can see 1596. Wow. And another very old Tudor book. And this massive old coffer. I think it's one of the oldest I've ever seen. On the thing it says that it's believed to have been bought in London in 1520. So it's quite a few hundred years old. And some old style weaponry like a halberd, but it has a shortened handle. And a chain mace. There we go. With all your spikes. Some reconstructions of clothes and some 16th century helmets. And I have to include a few models of different types of boats that they used here. Sail barge, this one down at the bottom. As Faversham has a lot of history linked to its creek. I was just reading that in medieval times, imports and exports passing through Faversham increased the wealth of local inhabitants. And by 1580, 70% of all grey sent to London passed through the ports of Faversham and Melton. I found another cool boat model called the MV Stourgate. I'm going to let you read a little bit of the story of the shepherd's neame because brewing is something super important here and it dates back many hundreds of years. So if you want to pause and take your time to read it. Yeah, it's a quote from an American, but it's a good one. Pick them up before they are. Sorry. I found something that I did not know of. They are called the Ivorex Plakes, and they were designed by Arthur Osborne, and they were one of Faversham's best-known products. And he came up with up to 900 designs. They're really beautiful. I like this one. The fireplace, the little dog and the old lady. Some fashion and bridal exhibition. Interesting. Oh, there's quite a few items. Let's have a look at that veil from an unknown bride. I'm more interested in the detail of the lace. How pretty. And I just read that actually it is a wedding dress, because as we know, not all wedding dresses were white up to some, I don't know, the later part of the Victorian era, and this is one example. This is quite fancy, and we actually have a picture of the bride and groom. It's from 1942. Let me step back so you can see it. Shorter versions. There's more there. Okay, there's more stuff upstairs, so let's go. And I just landed in a classroom. Old bench. You had your little tablet you wrote on with chalk. Cool. Oh, there's everything here. Some ancient TV type thingy. And we have a kitchen with everything. Butter churners. Oh, so many things. And drying our clothes there. Oh, well, their clothes. And I found some interesting police buttons. Look how fancy. Considering what they were for. Wow. And we hop on to the wartime. And yet again, I found something I've never seen before. Have you ever seen decorated mortar bombs? Filled telephone. And there's a buzzing fly. And I came upon another dress. It's believed to be from the 1770s, and this is the oldest garment that this museum owns. Hockey team or cricket, I'm not sure which one of the two. But you can see a unicycle. Now this is so cool. I've seen one before a very long time ago somewhere else. So imagine cycling on that. And we are at the barber's or the hairdresser. Let's have a peek. See some of the old instruments. Chemist display. And the same big fly is following me. And sweets. Old small pram. And there's loads of interesting bits and bobs in there, but the glass is my enemy yet again. I'm gonna try and show you these because jet jewelry became fashionable in this time. And there's quite a nice few pieces here. And the fancy blouse again. Oh, the reflections are driving me crazy. Some fans. And we are back to the classroom. Okay, we can see that dress much better from here. And there's descriptions and photos of some of the villages from the area. There are loads of them. I did not know that there are so many. Okay, let's continue. And this is a rare example of an 18th century industrial bell. And I'm just reading that it was in use at the ore gunpowder works. Can we see it better from here? Right, I came from there. Let's continue. What's that, the big shed? What are these? Interesting machinery name. The fat lady, it's a pump. And then a different kind. And a different kind. Oh wow. These are really old. I've never seen any like it before. I will let you read a little inscription. It's a little bit morbid. Now what's that other contraption? A shoemaker's stitching machine. Never seen one of those before either. Let's see what's in here. I expect tools. Yep. Lots and lots of tools that belong to different industries over the centuries. Let's find something interesting. There's even a brick exhibit. They're useful, but I've never seen such a thing again. Right, let's have a look at this side. There's so many things that my eyes just go everywhere. I don't even know what to focus on. And this is interesting. It's a farmer's smock. Nice and old. Dated to 1860. Of course, hops and hopping in Faversham. I'm gonna try and tell you more about this when I'm filming through the town, because it's very interesting and this industry still lives on. Telecommunications, loads of old phones, but we can also see the systems, how they used to patch calls through and stuff. And another telephone exchange. I think that's a more modern one. And it says there's a Georgian shop front and garden. Okay, let's see. Ooh, pretty. There's some pretty bluebells. Some quite intricately decorated cast iron chairs. You would sit and have your cup of tea, possibly an ice cream. This is cool because we are allowed to touch them, and look, you can just take this thing and plug it probably to the right number and they're calling. How cool is that? I've seen that in movies. Never got to do it before. I just realized that these were gunpowder barrels up to 100 pounds. Well, I think that's it. There's also an old telephone booth. Well, this little museum, which is not so little, really surprised me. I did not expect to see so many cool artifacts and history here. Right, that was lovely. If you visit Faversham, I do recommend you checking out the museum for yourselves. We made it to Market Street. Need to decide which way to go, but I want to include some of these buildings. They're absolutely beautiful. Right, we'll be going this way. The sky is so beautiful today, but it's a bit windy. And there's the town hall building, and let's see what else is there. What's that building? Maybe that's where the market is. We are not here on a market day, unfortunately, so we don't get to have that experience. But it looks beautiful. And I like these old style houses. They're absolutely interesting. I'm just staring at the very strange contraption there. Not quite sure. Did they build in a chimney with metal bits? I don't know. 1570, wow. Seriously, this is so cool. Oh, I think the nearby cafes probably can put their tables and chairs out so people can enjoy sitting here. This is really nice. You can still see the old wooden structure. I like this. The light is not good here, but I want to show you this old pump, which is really beautifully decorated. And let me show you. The handle is on this side, and the spout is there. It's really, really cool. Decided to walk back and walk through this little alley so we can admire the gorgeous old houses. Look at them. One is prettier than the other. Found some really cute pansies and the beautiful lamp. Wow. And we are at the end of that little lane. This is a very cute old-fashioned post box. Looks different than the ones in London. And I think that is the famous building where they do, yeah, obviously, the tours and the shops. I don't know if any is on today. It's a cute building. And then the brick one next to it is killer. Just mentioning that this is Britain's oldest brewery, the Shepherd's Neame, and I will tell you more about it as I progress with the video. Just had to mention it whilst I'm here. Continuing on, this is another fantastic building. The old pharmacy, I think. There, we can see it all. They want to show you that door. Look at that. It's like straight out of an old movie. Of course the camera is something else, but wow. And just by it is the other side of the Guildhall building. There, we can see it from this side. And I'm gonna pan around because I want to show you something. Another fantastic building just here. It doesn't look super interesting, but it is. I'm reading there that since the 16th century, when Henry VIII's fleet lay at anchor in Faversham Creek, an inn has stood on this side, obviously called a ship. How cool is that? It's still, well, obviously it's been reconstructed and all, but there's still an inn here. Just gonna have a little peek because I can see that eagle-like thing, probably, which was at the front of a boat, or a different bird, I'm not sure. And there's some of the old charges that they had to pay for different things. Some on this side as well. Interesting. Just coming out of there. More interesting little buildings. It's so windy! Just realized that this is still part of the brewery. And it's all the decorations with hops and stuff. It's pretty. The oldest part was further down to the left. And I found something else that's interesting. And this building is just next to it, to the hoppy one. And I'm thinking that used to be another brewery, which is now has been turned into flats. There's a pretty church there. We'll go around later. And I found a really cool door knocker. It's in the shape of a fish, but with the tail in a trident form. How cool. And another old building. I think if I remember correctly, I read that there's over 300 listed historic buildings here in Faversham. And I'm really not surprised. Whichever way I look, I spot something new and beautiful. Rather old or beautiful. And in that fancy little building, there's boxing. And here's the creek. Close to the breweries. And that's the other side. You can see some of the boats and cars passing by because I'm on the bridge. Lovely, peaceful evening with happy birds and noisy cars. And let's just spin around a bit. Breweries. Really pretty sight. And there's a taverna. We're going somewhere else, so we're not going to check this one out. But I'm sure it's nice. I wanted to include this beautiful church because we saw it from a distance yesterday. And now we have time, so wanted to come and see it. It's a shame that this little truck is parked in front of it, but let's go. I hope it's open. There's two statues, one on each side. Not sure what art project they're part of, but I can see that the stone is the same as it's used in the building of the church. There's the other one. Okay, let's read what it says. Alright, I'll just let you read it if you're interested. I just want to show you. See, it's the same stone, which is called the Kentish flint. Right, this main door is locked, but there's usually always a side entrance. So let's go check. Not this one. I think they're cutting the grass. That's the buzzing noise you can hear. Okay. Oh yeah, this is open. We can go in and check it out. Right. This is the inside of the parish church of St. Mary of Charity. It's a very large church. Needs a bit of TLC. I can see the paint's coming off on the ceiling, but that's not the point. Spinning around quickly. Large pillars. And let's go a little bit to the front. The noise you can hear in the background is because they have a play group for little children. I'm not gonna film that. Only the side bits. And I think that would be the altar in the front. Okay, the organ is there, and I assume that these are the seats for the choir. Right, I just read that they call this part the sanctuary, not the altar, so correction. The stained glass is just beautiful. I wonder from when it dates. I don't know. Let's look back. Behind that covering there's a door, but I wanted to include it because it's really beautiful, and I am not sure, but the patterns and motifs remind me of Native American art, but I might be very wrong because there's similar symbols and motifs used in different cultures. There's no note to tell us about it. Now these decorations at the edges of the seats are really, really nice. Different shapes, I'm gonna show you some. Not quite sure why it would be in a church, but it's beautifully carved. There's even more at the edges of the seats. At the bottom, I have seen similar ones in many other churches, but I find these quite well executed. And one more. One of the side chapels, and I just spotted something on that column. Let's have a look. You can still see the very old painting on it. Wow. I need to check if I can find some information about it. This is fascinating. And I did. My goodness, 1306. I don't know if it's legible, but I'm just gonna go through it. You can pause and try to read it, it's just too much. I'm gonna have a quick read. Okay, well, this is the only surviving column that has pretty well preserved images on it from the life of Christ, and I read that there's indication that it was the same on other columns, but there's only little specks of paint here and there, but nothing clear. Okay, here we have a model of the church, because obviously without the drone I cannot show you how it all looks from the outside. It is really beautiful, and it's quite special because it's rare, at least it is rare for me, to see a tower in this shape and, you know, with the gap there and stuff. I like the windows even don't have the stained glass. The shape is just gorgeous. Just wanted to include some of these kneeling cushions that people spend time beautifully decorating. These are all handmade. Right, that's it. It's absolutely beautiful. If you visit Faversham, make sure you pop in here as well to see all of this for yourself with your own eyes. Right, this is the best I can do from this point. Right, just came across another amazing looking Tudor building, and I have a map, and I believe that this is the Queen Elizabeth Tudor Grammar School now, which was originally founded in 1527. It was confiscated by Henry VIII and restored to the town by Elizabeth I in 1576, and reopened as a school in 1587. It's quite something. I wish I could see it from the other side, but let's see if we can have a peek. Okay, it looks like it's open. And do they have a cafe here? Okay, I did not expect this. There's the explanation. This one is called the Abbey Physic Community Garden. It's lovely. Let's have a little pot. Some lovely blooms. What are you? A little cherry tree, probably. Oh, it's nice to sit outside, have a drink, maybe a little nibble. There's lots of happy birds. Oh, I love it when you wander about and you just find lovely things. Right, this is the other side of the building. I found something. I'm not quite sure if it's plums or little apples that are growing. A lovely little thingy. I'm pretty sure that wisteria or something will go over it in time. Oh, lovely. There's a lovely little water feature in memory of a lady. Oh, nice. And I just wanted to include the different types of ferns. You can see that when the leaves are still very young, they are completely furled up. And we can see that even more prominently on this one. Look at all of you little fluffies. You're so cute. And bluebells on the side. Oh, and this is nice. Look at that. You can sit around, have a little fire, toast some marshmallows, and tell stories of life. You're pretty too. Oh, it's larger than I imagined it from the outside. There's a tiny pond. Let's go around it. Or maybe not, I need to go the other way. I think this must be a type of jasmine. It smells really lovely. Okay, there's a shed and compost heaps, I think. And I think a toilet, I don't know. Okay, now I think there's a veggie garden on this side. How nice! I am really happy to have found this. There's a memory tree, different inscriptions. And some beautiful but fading tulips. Their season is now over. You're still pretty. Right, and there's the little cafe area. Okay, I found a tulip that has many layers. Don't get to see this type often, and it's large. It's like my 2 fists or more put together. Okay, the garden kitchen. I had to include it. So cute. There's some little greenhouse. I think they're still working on it. But I can see lettuces and stuff. Some other bits and bobs. I spotted cool containers that collect the rainwater. Okay, that's it. This was lovely, but I want to get on to Abbey Road, which has a lot of old medieval buildings, so let's go there. Right, this is Abbey Place and heading towards Abbey Street. There's loads of beautiful buildings here too. Look at that! Somebody was very creative. The top of it is a little bit damaged, but it still looks beautiful. So that was the road we came off, going on to that one. But before we do that, you can pause and read the info from here if you wish. Found a tiny little narrow passageway. But let's continue, I'm curious of that building there. Right, read that and I'll show you the building. So this is now Abbey Gate Cottage. And you got to read that they reused some of the stonework to build some of the houses on the street. Now this little flower pot reminds me of Spanish houses I've seen. More modern but still old. Lama's Gate. And there's a cute little up there. Can you see it? It's quite windy, so... Oh, there you are. Everything's pretty around here. The contrast of old buildings and very modern cars. Pretty again. And another old looking building, which is now a pub called The Anchor. Absolutely beautiful. Let's have a look at this. Number 1 Abbey Road. The little old cottage. That's not that little actually. One of my favorite flowers and scents. The lilac. Lovely. Right, we ended up coming into The Anchor. And I'm gonna try and show you a little bit around. Dining area. Let me take you towards the bar area. This has been around for over 300 years. So, how cool is that? Oh, you're cute. Dinosaur on the piano.
Nice to meet you.
A little hidden spot. Oh, absolutely lovely. Oh. Small fireplace. And here's a large one. Look at that. It's humongous. It's like half the size of the room. Alright, and after the dinosaur now we have a giraffe. And that's an apple and summerberry crumble with ice cream. And some yummy apple cider. Right, continuing to the lower side of Abbey Road. After the lovely pit stop we had at The Anchor, and I'm seeing beautiful old houses again. Look at that. And some more on this side and on the other. Yeah. Right, I think I have showed you the rest of Abbey Street when I didn't even know its name earlier on when we were walking up from that side. Beautiful, lovely old buildings everywhere. Alright, continuing the explorations now on West Street. And just look at this building, 1697. Wow. Some nice old lamps, butchers, then another pub, the Sun Inn, and some more. I am just completely blown away by all these beautiful old houses, even the newer ones. Okay. I think I will end my video here. I'm sure there's plenty more to explore, but I will leave that for another time. I hope you enjoyed this wandering through Faversham. It was the first time I ever visited, but I know for a fact that I will be back sometime. And it is one of those beautiful English towns that I most definitely recommend visiting. Have a lovely day, everyone.